Hello and welcome to another episode. Uh, Sitting here looking out on, 8 inches of snow, 6 to 8 inches of snow. We don't get this. This happens like once every 10 years or something crazy. It's been a while. But always really nice to see the world covered in a soft blanket of snow. It's always much more quiet. Of course, I need to go do some shoveling, and I haven't shoveled snow in, I don't know, ever. Anyway, I'm enjoying right now the last of this brew, Ladro Coffee Roasters, Ethiopia Lemo. I just did a video on it, and a couple things. First, as I was setting up to record this, I realized I might have completely screwed up the audio on that video recording. So that makes me think I might have screwed up audio on a bunch of other video recordings. So I'm going to have to go check out a whole bunch of audio recording and see if I did that right. Fun. But, so I just did this video on this Ladro. It's really good coffee. Oddly enough, like and I'll link to this below, but like I'm in such a different mood right now. Like I really want a French press of something like, not exactly dark roast, but like something smooth and chocolatey. I want a French press of something warm and embracing. And then I want to sit in front of the fire and drink it. I tend to get this like, I guess I call it seasonality of coffee. So this Ethiopia, this Ladro is, it's a light roasted. It's got like orange rind, grape, kind of like bright tea-like flavors, which is really tasty, but, well, I guess it isn't really a but. It's really tasty. My like interests are leaning more towards like chocolatey, nutty, kind of flavors for my coffee right now. And I think it's just because of the snow. I tend to go through those like phases. In the winter, I want the winter blends and not necessarily darker roasted coffee, but woo-wee, whole bunch of wind just knocked a bunch of snow out of a bunch of trees. All right, so not necessarily like dark roasted coffee, but something like richer and sweeter and simpler. And maybe more like to the classic coffee flavors versus something that I got to think about. I don't know if it's the wanting to think about it versus not wanting to think about it or something like that. Maybe it's the like the winter time makes me think about like eating more food, and the kind of coffees that I like to drink when I eat with food are different than the coffees that I drink by themselves. I don't know. But yeah, I kind of got a craving for a nice fall or winter coffee blend and pair it with some pumpkin pie or something like that. Maybe a nice little feast, those kinds of things. That isn't to say that this coffee isn't delicious. And this coffee actually, I should say, so I brewed this, I don't know, like an hour ago. And then recorded this other video. And now I'm drinking the rest of this, and it's pretty cool. Like, I don't know what temperature the coffee is in here, but it's pretty cool. And it tastes really good. Like, no negative taste to this coffee being like cooler than room temperature, it feels like. Or maybe it is room temperature. I don't know, it's pretty cold out. But gosh, I'm sorry. I keep getting distracted by this view, which you can't see in the, maybe I'll include a picture. I'll like put a picture right here of what I'm seeing. But like the clouds have cleared, the sun's coming out, like the wind is blowing, and it looks amazing with all the snow. Okay, what was I talking about? So this coffee being cold, it's almost like a fruit juice. That's not quite right. It doesn't have that level of sweetness, but it has that like smoothness. There's no bitter to it. It's, I mean, outside of the natural bitterness of coffee, which is quite subtle, actually, I think. This is really, really interesting. You can really tell the quality of a coffee, like the quality of the green coffee and the quality of the roast, by how well the coffee stands up as it cools. That's my opinion on the matter. Darker roast purists would disagree. I think that there's no dark roast that could stand up to cooling down because you got so much going on with the oils and the caramelized sugars. Yeah, I don't think that's good. But this is, like, I could just transition this right into an iced coffee and it would taste like honey. So let me ask you, do you find yourself having different interests in coffee through the seasons? Like, do you have different fall coffees, winter coffees, different things in the spring, the summer? Do you drink more coffee in different times of years? I think personally my coffee consumption is pretty consistent throughout the seasons. I actually drink less coffee than most people realize. But also I tend to cycle on and off, and I don't really have any kind of dependency upon caffeine, which is the way I prefer it. I don't get caffeine headaches if I stop drinking coffee. My enjoyment of coffee is really entirely around the deliciousness of the beverage. Having it as a bit of a ritual and a nice little kick in the morning is, of course, enjoyable. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. What are your experiences? How do you enjoy coffee through the seasons? And what are you looking forward to next? I'm starting to think about starting to think about springtime blends, but not so much with this 8 feet of snow out here, 8 inches of snow out here. All right, I've got to go shovel snow, and maybe I'll make a snowman. No, I think I'll be too lazy, but I got to shovel it. Thank you so much for joining me. It's Cup of Joe. I'll see you in the next one.